Everything is more fun when you're with your friends. Because when you're with your friends, you do stupid shit. Enter Sonic Heroes. Probably my favorite entry in the Sonic series because of the fast-paced action platforming and switching between 3 character types in order to progress. I am long overdue on a Sonic review anyways, so let's get right into this. Let's review 2003's Sonic Heroes. This game stars Sonic the Hedgehog obviously, except this time around he has backup, in the form of Tails and Knuckles. It's not just them that's playable either. This game has a whopping 12 playable characters. Team Sonic, who consists of what I just said, Team Dark, composing of Shadow the Hedgehog, E123 Omega, and Rouge the Bat, Team Rose, made up of Amy Rose, Cream the Rabbit, and Big the Motherfucking Cat. Woo! The best Sonic character.
Super happy!
Last but not least, Team Chaotix, bringing back SPO the Chameleon, Vector the Crocodile, and Charmy Bee. Now that I got all the characters out of the way, let's talk about the story. All the teams have their own adventures that merge together at the very end. So in order to beat the game, you have to go through the game as every team. Team Sonic's story starts off with Sonic running along a canyon doing his thing, till Tails and Knuckles shows up in the Tornado 2. There is an emergency. Eggman sent them a letter talking about how in 3 days, he was going to take over the world with his army. Also, he legitimately calls them Sonic Heroes. That's very strange, but with this information, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles set off to prevent the Doctor's scheme. It's simple, but just enough to get their story rolling. They don't explain why Knuckles is leaving the Master Emerald unguarded though, that's weird. Team Dark's story begins with Rouge infiltrating Eggman's secret base looking for treasure, because she's a thief, and that's what thieves do. Stupid busty bat! Anyways, she finds Shadow in a capsule. In Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow was presumed to be dead after the final boss, so him being here is a big shock. Oh, but hell truly breaks loose when E123 wakes up and starts throwing shit out. Omega is mad at Eggman for locking him in this room and not getting used to his full potential, while Shadow has lost his memory from previous events. Rouge assembles them together and the 3 venture forth to find Dr. Eggman to get to the bottom of all of this. Team Rose begins with Amy looking at a newspaper with Sonic on it. He's so froggy and Chocola. What? I'm shaking and crying right now. Sonic would never do such a thing. Or would he? That son of a bitch was getting in all sorts of trouble in the last game. Team Rose's plot is literally just Amy, Cream, and Big searching for their shit. Amy wants Sonic because she's just that horny. Cream wants Chocola back because that's her mother's child. And Big wants Froggy because of course he fucking lost his damn frog again. Not sure if I'm comfortable with Big hanging out with little girls, but it's better than him fishing.
You need to shut the fuck up!
Finally, the Chaotix. These guys were brought back into the series, first appearing in the game Knuckles Chaotix on the Sega 32X. They do seem to be 1 member short, but Mighty gets his spotlight 23 years later. Anyways, the Chaotix are a detective agency in this game. Their story kicks off with a job offer from an anonymous individual needing their detective services, and that's pretty much it. The team's mostly complex in terms of gameplay, but story-wise, they just want to get paid. Later on though, it does get more interesting as they start to figure out who their client really is.
Looks like Eggman escaped into the city.
Eggman's robots are taking control of everything.
No shit, Sherlock.
The gameplay! This is a game after all. As I mentioned briefly before, this is a 3D action platformer, featuring team-based elements such as switching characters in order to progress. There are 3 character types, the speed type, the power type, and the fly type. It's self-explanatory what their jobs do, but let me go into detail. The speed types go fast. Big fucking surprise, I know. But they can also do the homing attack, rocket excel, which is basically just a spin dash with extra steps, and the tornado action. Sonic and Shadow spin around making a blue and black tornado respectively. Amy uses her Pico Pico hammer to create a tornado because why not? And SPO is a ninja. He can create a leaf storm that makes him invisible afterwards. Speed types are pretty handy. The power types are the big guns. Their sole purpose is to break shit and let loose on your enemies, the most effective for combat. Knuckles gets Sonic and Tails spinning on his fists and starts punching and swearing.
Shit! 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 He said shit!
He can also dunk them. Same applies for all power types. Omega does the same thing, but with Shadow and Rouge, except he can shoot missiles. Big the Cat hits Cream and Amy with the damn stick. I find that pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. And for extra measure, you can use a belly flop. Vector gets Charmy and SPO in his mouth and starts to shoot them. And he can also just slam the ground with his fist, cause he's just got that big PP energy. Power types also have the passive ability of being able to glide with your team on fans. The fly types are the most simple, but probably the best. They fly. This is a platformer. Flying characters are going to be good in a platformer, dude. It's common knowledge. For combat, they use Thunder Shoot, an ability that stuns enemies, and can really get broken when they're leveled up. Oh, did I not mention the level up system? It's fairly simple. You just get power cores corresponding to each type of character, and you can also level up the characters by going through the checkpoints. The higher level the character, the more powerful they are. It's as simple as that. Every game has its problems, and I can say that this game actually has a lot of problems, actually. It's mostly the physics, man. They can get really fucking annoying. I swear, 80% of the time I die, I try to blame the game's fault. Not just because I'm really fucking good at video games, but because it's true, okay? Bosses can range up from some of the most mindless things imaginable, like literally mashing the B button as the power type the whole time, to some of the most aggravating things I had to deal with in my whole life. Otherwise, combat is pretty fun. Controlling the game honestly feels like controlling with a stick of butter half the time, and it's mostly the speed type's fault for being really goddamn fast. But that is where my problems stop. These physics make me feel like I'm playing in an ice skating rink, and how mindless these boss fights can really be. Oh god, imagine if there was an ice level in this game. There are 14 main levels in this game, each character going through these 14 levels with minor changes each time. Team Sonic is the standard playthrough, while Team Dark is the more difficult playthrough. Team Rose is the painfully easy playthrough, and Team Chaotix is the mission-based playthrough, meaning that they complete missions from their client in order to complete the levels. Each two levels go together with their corresponding boss, an example being Seaside Hill and Ocean Palace. They have the same motif, but different names. There are also 3 types of bosses: an Eggman boss, a team boss where you fight an entirely different team. These can take no time at all, but they can also take forever. And the enemy rush bosses, where you just fight a swarm of enemies, because the devs are creative. So, the first 2 levels are Seaside Hill and Ocean Palace. As the name implies, you travel across the seaside and ancient palaces. Grand Metropolis and PowerPoint... Did I say PowerPoint? God damn. Grand Metropolis and Power Plant take place in an industrial city with a giant, power plant. Being a highway and casino part will give your kids a gambling addiction, as they take places in cities as well, but casino! The halfway point of the game is Rail Canyon and Bullet Station. Eggman Stronghold, probably one of the harder levels, mostly because if you slip up, you will get punished hard for it. It's actually a very good difficulty spike. Frog Forest in Lost Jungle takes place in nature, with the main gimmick dealing with giant frogs that control rain and swinging from vine to vine. Hang Castle and Mystic Mansion are the game's spooky levels, Mystic Mansion having hands down the best level song in the game. But at the downside, these levels can get very, very long. Not counting Team Rose, because their versions end much quicker. Aside from them dragging out, I love these 2 levels. The final 2 levels are Egg Fleet and Final Fortress. Egg Fleet might honestly be the best level in the game because you are finally at your destination, and you storm Eggman's final, fortress, destroying each ship and getting launched into the next one. My god, I love this level. It's one of the best in the whole series. Final Fortress is the last stop for each team. This level truly takes out the big guns with hordes of the most powerful robots in the game, dodging laser fire on rails and destroying the cannons. The stormy sky says it all. A fantastic final level. Gee, look at all those Eggman's robots. Yeah, something I do want to talk about real quick is how the teams interact with each other throughout the levels. It really makes them feel more like they are actually a team. Talking about, whoa, there's an enemy over there, and hey, there's a switch over there, we should probably press that, and wow, look at all those Eggman's robots, because Tails just doesn't know his fucking grammar, dude. He's 8, he's a genius, he should know how to speak words. This isn't the end of the game, however. In order to defeat the last evil, you must gather the 7 Chaos Emeralds from the game's special stages. You can access these levels by getting the key from the second act of each level and keeping it throughout that level. And for the record, yes, these special stages take like 2 seconds, but at the same time, they are really fucking annoying to control.
We'll show that creep the real superpower of teamwork!
The climax. You forgot this game even had a story, didn't you? As the Chaotix uncover their client as being Dr. Eggman himself, they learn that he wasn't behind this whole debacle at all. He was locked up in this room by none other than Metal Sonic. Yes, I am the main antagonist of the game, not Dr. Eggman. This isn't random either. This is foreshadowed. Metal Sonic is revealed to the player after he copies the team's data after the defeat of Eggman in the boss Egg Albatross in Bullet Station. He is also the one that took Froggy and Chocola in order to get data from Chaos. Because remember, in Sonic Adventure, Froggy ate a piece of Chaos, and with that data copied from all the characters, the ultimate life form, that's Shadow by the way, and Chaos, he's super strong, and he transforms into a monster. Metal Madness. The only way to stop him is, if you guessed it, the 7 Chaos Emeralds. We need a supersonic takedown on this bitch. So the whole gang gets ready to show this creep the real superpower of teamwork. The other 3 teams buy some time for Team Sonic to use the Chaos Emeralds and transform into Supersonic, Tails, and Knuckles, except those 2 have dinky shields. The final boss is Metal Overlord as he takes to the skies. You deal damage to him by grinding the Team Blast meter up and firing an all-out attack. I just realized I didn't talk about Team Blast. Hey, who cares? It's the team special attacks, okay? That's all you need to know. Do this 5 times and the Titan falls. He really deserves it though, because in the boss fight, he's talking mad shit to Sonic. Like, seriously. He also reverts back to his basic Metal Sonic self. Sonic goes back to running, with Tails and Amy following behind. The Chaotix chase down Eggman's punk ass down. Rouge threatens to steal the Master Emerald from Knuckles. Shadow and Omega pick me up like they're wondering what to do next, looking at each other like,
What the fuck?
oh, and Cream and Big were there too, I guess. Ah yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Sonic Heroes, the first Sonic game to establish teams within the series, and a solid 3D platformer in its own right. Being able to switch characters with their own roles on the fly at any time, and defeating my YouTube avatar. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, no, this is not my favorite Sonic game because Metal is the main antagonist, okay? It's because of a bunch of other reasons!